Welcome back to the channel. I'm Traben, and in today's video we're going to talk about what I plan to read for Summerween 2024. I'm feeling really nostalgic recently because so many of the videos that I'm creating right now are callbacks to some of my first videos when I first started the channel last year. I did my mid-year book freakout tag for 2024 recently. I did a sequel review for one of my first reviews on the channel, and now I'm going to do Summerween 2024, my second year to participate in Summerween, and I'm really excited, and I wanted to get ahead of it this year because I found out about it like right as I was starting up with the channel last year and had to scramble to like find some things that match with the prompts. This year, I'm coming in with a plan. So let's talk about what I want to read for Summerween 2024. So the first prompt is to read a book at night. This will be fairly easy for me because as a father of two, night times are pretty much the only time that I have to read at this point, and summers especially are easy. It's an easy time to get some reading in. Last year I read Grady Hendrix' Paperbacks From Hell book, which basically chronicles a bunch of paperback horror books from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Might have gone into the 80s. There's an imprint from Barnes & Noble that is the Paperbacks From Hell, and it's the books that are featured in that collection. So each of them has a intro by Grady Hendrix. So one of my major goals for this year's Summerween is to get some of these books that I've picked up read, because I've read synopses about them and I've read like overviews about them, and I want to read some more of like classic horror, not in the sense of like traditionally classic, but more like pulpy 50s, 60s, 70s horror. So this is the one I've chosen for reading in the dark. Can't quite recall what the Paperbacks From Hell said about this one in particular. It doesn't easily fall into any of the other categories, so reading at night it is. The second prompt is to read a thriller or a horror book, and all of these are going to be thrillers or horrors. And so what I'm choosing for that one is Hellhound. Now, I wanted to make sure a couple of the titles I picked were on the shorter side because I'm going to try to read through 5 books in a week and still try to fit in some time for my epic series that I'll be doing concurrently. Hellhound is unsurprisingly about a killer dog, and that's all I really need to know about it, and it's a horror book, so it fits the prompt. Once again, it's one of the Paperbacks From Hell, and I look forward to the crazy pulpy nonsense in it. Prompt number 3 is to read a book with the night sky on the cover. I thought I'd double dip with this one and read One Perfect Couple by Ruth Ware. It's got a night cover. I know it's hard to see. It's hard to see, but that does seem to be a beach at night in the background there. So I think it should count. This is also on my 24 for 2024, so it'll help me knock out that challenge as well. So I wanted to see if any of those were working here, and this is the one I had left that would definitely fit with the criteria for this readathon. The plot kind of reminds me of this television series called, I think, Harper's Island, that had one of the worst endings to a horror series or a horror story that I've ever seen. And so I'm hoping that this delivers something more than that television series did. The premise here is basically a reality TV show gone wrong. So the contestants all get to the island, and then a storm hits and things go from bad to worse, and something else nefarious is happening. Sounds pretty cool. I like the premise. I like the concept. But again, I'm just hoping it doesn't reach the goofy qualities that the show it's reminding me of hit. Prompt number 4 is to read a book with at least 5 words in the title. It's listed as 5 words, but the list of books on the suggested page leads me to believe that it was 5 or more. And I want to say in Gabby's video describing Summerween, she said it could be more than 5. So in any case, I'll be reading Let's Go Play at the Atoms. This is another one of the Grady Hendrix Paperbacks from Hell. And this one is one that I do remember the premise of, and it did sound very intriguing. So there's a babysitter who is like tied up by the kids that she's having to watch, and she thinks it's all a game, but apparently it goes more and more extreme as the story goes on. This one did stick out to me as I was reading through the Paperbacks from Hell book, and so I'm glad that it's one of the ones that's in the line of releases that they've put out so far, and it fits the prompt, so I'm looking forward to taking a look at it. All right, the last book, I'm very thankful that there are people online who are compiling lists that fall into these categories, because the last prompt is to read a book that takes place during the summer, and I just don't have the time to be looking through my collection or my TBR and figuring out, okay, does this horror story take place during the summer, or does this one take place during the summer? A lot of really good titles are on that list. So, for example, My Best Friend's Exorcism is on there, and I really liked that one. I've heard good things about this title as well, and I'm hoping that I enjoy it. It's another short one. Stephen Graham Jones's Night of the Mannequins. So this is a very short, again, I needed to have a couple of short ones, a short story or a novella about mannequins coming to life and menacing people, and that just sounded like the kind of weird supernatural kind of horror that I really enjoy. Too much of what I read last year when I was reading for the Summerween and when I was just reading horror last fall, too many of the stories were set up to be supernatural events or cosmic horror, and then ended up being mundane, or at least like scientific explanations, hallucinations, that type of thing. So I'm really hoping that this does not fall into that trope, into that trap. But from everything I've heard, it's a fairly straightforward, like, goofy horror concept. And so I'm looking forward to that one as well. So those are the books that I'll be looking at for Summerween 2024. I really like Summerween because it gets my mind on horror before spooky season really starts up. And I know I'll continue to read horror into October, when Halloween's actually coming around, probably winter as well. But it's gotten my mind. I've been doing a lot of fantasy reading lately and a lot of YA reads, and so I think it'll be refreshing to pivot a little bit, get a little bit of focus on horror for a week, to get to these books that I've been excited to crack open and take a look at. It's also going to be an interesting one just because I don't read a lot from this time period. I'm reading a lot of contemporary work. Across all my genres, it tends to be like the new releases, and I feel like on some level, the BookTube and BookTalk and Bookstagram push that idea of like new releases, and like I've got a whole calendar set up for what's coming out this year that I want to take a look at. But it'll be fun to look back on an era of horror that I've not really been familiar with and that I've not read into, and see if I enjoy it and if I want to go seek out more of those titles. So I'm glad I have kind of a theme going for this year, for at least 3 of the 5. And I'm glad that, like last year, I didn't just jump in the day before. I've got some time to think about it and to plan. So I'm really hoping to get through it this year and to get all these prompts read. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to participate in Summerween. What are the titles that you're going to be reading? Have you read any of the things that I'm taking a look at? What were your thoughts on them? I love hearing feedback from those who are watching my videos. I like having the dialogue. It's the entire reason that I've started this YouTube channel. So please like, comment, subscribe. Help me grow this corner of our BookTube community. Check out Gabby's video on Summerween, which I will link down in the description below. She has an overview of the prompts and her selections, and also links to like t-shirts and merch and things like that, if that is something you're interested in. I very much hope you enjoyed the video. I hope your reading journey is going well. And until the next one, take care.